come and settle in. Pull that blanket up a little. Yes, just like that. Are you comfortable? Good. Close your eyes if you like, or just let them go soft and heavy, looking at nothing in particular. We're not going anywhere tonight. We're just going to drift, very slowly, through something rather wonderful. Tonight's story is about music. Now, before you think about notes or instruments or songs, just take a breath with me for a moment. In through your nose and out. Very slowly through your mouth. And listen. Really listen. Can you hear anything? Maybe it's very quiet where you are. Maybe there's the faint sound of the house settling, or rain somewhere far away, or someone in another room, or the soft sound of your own breathing. That gentle rhythm. In and out, in and out. That is actually a kind of music in its own small way. And you've been making it since the very moment you were born. Isn't that something? Let's begin at the very beginning, which is a good place to begin most things. A very long time ago. Longer than you can really imagine. Longer even than your grandparents. Grandparents were alive. There were people on this earth who didn't have any of the things we have now. No warm houses, no soft blankets, no books, no toys, no electricity at all. But they had music. They would hit hollow logs with sticks, and the sound would boom and echo through the trees. They would blow across the tops of shells, and a low, round note would float out across the water. They would cup their hands together and hum, just hum, and feel the vibration tickle in their chests, and something would happen inside them. Something would change. They would feel less alone, or braver, or like crying a little in a soft, relieved kind of way, or like dancing even when they were tired. And all of those feelings, the bravery, the togetherness, the tears, the wanting to move, those feelings are exactly what music still does to us today. After all that time, all those thousands and thousands of years. Isn't that funny when you think about it? You and a person living in a cave, very long ago, sitting around a fire. You've never met. You don't speak the same language. Your lives are completely different. And yet, if they started humming something, you would both feel it in the same place. Right in the middle of your chest. So what is music, really? Well, music is sound, but not just any sound. Music is sound that has been arranged gently, organized into patterns. And we humans, it turns out, absolutely love patterns. We love them in a way that goes right down to our bones. Think about a dripping tap. Drip. 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 If it drips in a steady rhythm, there's something almost comforting about it, even though it's just a tap. But if it drips unevenly, drip, 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 it starts to feel wrong, a little irritating, a little unsettled. Our brains notice patterns. They watch for them all the time without even being asked. And when music comes along with its lovely patterns, a melody that rises and then falls, a beat that keeps going steadily underneath, our brain goes, "Oh, lovely. I know what's coming next." And that knowing, that sense of things fitting together just right, makes us feel safe and warm and calm. Like this blanket you're under right now, the same weight all the way across, a pattern you can trust. Now, music can make us feel many different things depending on the music. Let's wander through some of them together. You know what happy music feels like, I think. It skips along. It bounces. It goes up at the end of phrases, like a question that expects a cheerful answer. Happy music tends to be fast, or at least not too slow. It tends to be bright. When you hear it, something in your body wants to respond. Your foot might tap by itself. Your fingers might drum without you deciding to drum them. Your face might smile before you've even noticed. That's your body catching the rhythm. Like when someone on a swing goes past you and you feel the air move. The music moves through the air and your body just catches it. Isn't it a funny thing that music can make your foot tap all by itself without you telling it to? There's a reason for that. Your brain, while it's listening to music, is actually guessing ahead. It hears the pattern and it thinks, "I know where this is going." And then it sends little signals, tiny, tiny signals, to your muscles, getting ready to move. So by the time the beat arrives, your foot is already there waiting for it. You are, in a very real way, catching music in your body before it even arrives. And that wonderful bit of catching is a tiny piece of joy. A little flicker of pleasure, over and over. That's what happy music feels like, from the inside. And then there is sad music. Let's visit sad music very gently, because it's important. But don't worry, it's not the sad that upsets you. It's something softer than that. Sad music is slow. Slower than a heartbeat, usually. When music goes slower than your heartbeat, your body starts to follow it down, like lowering yourself into warm water. Your breathing gets deeper. Your shoulders drop a little. And something opens up, somewhere behind your ribs. Sad music makes us feel sad things. But not a bad kind of sad. It's more like the feeling when you remember something lovely that happened a long time ago. When you think of someone you miss, and you miss them warmly, not in a sharp way. Sad music is the music of looking backwards, gently. Here is something rather remarkable. Scientists who study music, and yes, there are people whose whole job is to sit in a quiet room and understand why music makes people feel things, which sounds like a very good job. Those scientists have found that people actually enjoy listening to sad music, even though it makes them feel sad. And the reason is, well, part of the reason is that the music knows exactly how you feel. The music has been in that place before. Someone wrote it once when they were feeling something very large, and the music carries all of that feeling very carefully. And when you hear it, you think, oh. Someone else has felt this too, and that is, in its own way, a kind of comfort. Then there is the music that makes you brave. You might have noticed this if you've ever heard something with big drums and soaring horns, the kind of music they play in adventure films when the hero is about to do something very difficult. Or a rousing song that makes you want to stand up straight. That music does something interesting to your body. It actually changes the chemicals inside you. Tiny little molecules, invisible, swimming around in your blood. And those chemicals can make your heart beat faster, your breathing quicken, your arms feel stronger. Music can make you feel ready. Armies used to march into battle to music, drums mostly, keeping everyone's steps in time, making 200 feet fall as one. The rhythm bound everyone together, like stitches through cloth. And the music told their bodies, you can do this. Can you imagine? Standing on a cold hillside, feeling afraid, and then the drums begin, and something inside you lifts. Something real and physical, caused entirely by sound. That is rather extraordinary, isn't it? But let's come back to something gentler now, because we don't need brave music tonight. Tonight, we want the slow kind, the sinking kind. The kind that sounds like warm milk tastes, if warm milk had a sound. Let me tell you about lullabies. Lullabies are, perhaps, the oldest music in the world, older even than those hollow logs being struck by sticks. Because before we had instruments, we had voices. And before we had songs, we had humming. And humming is the most natural thing in the world. It requires nothing at all except a mouth and a breath and a small wish to make a sound. Every culture in the world, every single one, from every corner of the earth, from every language ever spoken, has lullabies. Mothers in cold climates and mothers in warm ones. Fathers in mountains and grandparents by the sea. All of them, throughout all of time, have sung softly to small children to help them fall asleep. And here is something lovely. Lullabies, in every language, share certain things. They are slow. They are gentle. They tend to have a rocking rhythm, a 1-2, 1-2, like the motion of being held and swayed, which, of course, is the very first movement most of us ever felt, when we were very small indeed, inside someone who loved us. So when you hear a lullaby, you're not just hearing a song. You're hearing an echo of the very beginning of being you. Isn't that something? Now, here is a question. Why does music make us feel things at all? Why doesn't it just go in through our ears and come out the other side, like the sound of a car engine or a door closing? Why does music get in so deeply? The answer is that music is very clever about where it goes. When sound travels into your ear, it travels a long way. It goes in through your ear canal, and it reaches a tiny, delicate little drum, your eardrum, which is no bigger than a small button. And that drum vibrates. And then the vibration passes along 3 tiny bones, 3 of the tiniest bones in your whole body, so small you could line them all up on your thumbnail. And then those tiny bones pass the vibration into a curling little tunnel filled with liquid. And the liquid ripples, and the ripples tickle tiny little hairs. And those hairs send signals up into your brain. And your brain is where things get interesting. Because the part of your brain that processes music is not just one part. Music goes everywhere. It visits the part of your brain that handles memory. It visits the part that feels emotions. It visits the part that controls movement. Which is why your foot taps. It visits the part that releases the good chemicals, the ones that make you feel warm and safe and pleased. Music is like a visitor who knows everyone in the house and brings gifts for each room. When you hear a song you loved as a small child, and you feel something rush through you, a sudden warmth, a pulling feeling, almost like homesickness, but in a good way. That is memory and music working together. The memory was stored away with all the feelings of that time, and the music is the key that opens the cupboard. Isn't it strange that a sound could keep something safe for you like that? And then give it back, years later, whenever you needed it. There is something else that music does that is very quiet and very important. Music can match our heartbeat. Right now, while you're lying there warm and still, your heart is beating. You might be able to feel it if you press your hand gently against your chest. Thump, thump, thump. Steady and reliable, doing its job without being asked, without even being noticed most of the time. A resting heartbeat is somewhere around 60 to 80 beats a minute. And slow music, the kind of music that helps you sleep, tends to sit right there, around 60 beats a minute or even slower. And when the music is going at the same pace as your heart, something happens. Your heart, very gently, leans toward the music. It's called entrainment, which is a lovely word, really. Like the music is a gentle train, moving at just the right pace, and your body decides to climb aboard. When your heart rate slows, your breathing slows. When your breathing slows, your muscles soften. When your muscles soften, sleep is not very far away. This is why people have used slow music as medicine for a very long time. Hospitals use it. Dentists use it. People who are worried or in pain use it. Because music does something real to the body, not just something in the imagination, but something physical and true. Music can slow you down. Music can bring you home to yourself. And that, perhaps, is the most important thing it does. Let's think for a moment about animals. Do animals hear music the way we do? Well, yes and no, and mostly yes, which is rather wonderful. Elephants, it turns out, seem to enjoy music. There is a sanctuary somewhere in the world where rescued elephants live, and someone brings an upright piano to the edge of their enclosure and plays for them. Soft, meandering music with no particular plan. And the elephants come close. They stand very still and listen. And sometimes they close their eyes. Elephants closing their eyes to piano music is one of the most beautiful things I can think of. Whales sing. You may know this already. It's one of those facts that sounds impossible until you actually hear it, and then it sounds completely obvious because, of course, they sing. Humpback whales sing long, rolling songs that travel incredible distances through the water, miles and miles, songs that take hours to complete. And the songs change from year to year. New phrases appear, spread from whale to whale, like a very slow and very quiet kind of fashion. Whales are composing. Slowly. across the whole ocean. Birds, of course, sing beautifully. And birds don't just sing to attract mates or mark territories, though they do those things too. Some birds seem to sing for the joy of it. There are birds who will sing complex songs alone, at dawn, in the middle of the woods, with no other birds anywhere near. Just singing. Into the quiet morning. Even plants, some scientists think, respond to sound. They grow differently when certain kinds of music or sounds are played near them, which might mean that music, in some form, touches almost everything alive. The hum runs through all of it. And now I'd like to tell you about something that happens when music goes inside you and makes you cry. Because sometimes music does that. And it's not sad crying, exactly. Or it might be, gently. But sometimes it's more like crying at something beautiful. At something so right and true that it fills you up and overflows a little. There's a word for the feeling you get when music gives you chills. When a melody sweeps up and something happens on your skin. Goosebumps, or a shiver along your spine, or a tightening in your throat. Scientists call it frisson. Which is a French word that means something like a shudder or a thrill. Not everyone gets frisson from music. But the people who do tend to have something else in common, they tend to score very highly on something called openness to experience. They like new things. They find the world interesting. They are curious. Which means that if music has ever made you shiver right down your spine, that is actually a rather lovely sign about who you are. And isn't it something? That a wave of sound moving through the air could reach inside your chest and touch something so real that your skin prickles with it. Let's think about how music is made. Very simply, very gently. All sound is vibration. When something vibrates, a guitar string, a person's throat, the skin of a drum, it pushes the air around it. And those pushes travel outward in waves, like the rings that spread across a pond when you drop in a stone. And eventually, one of those waves reaches your ear. A single steady vibration makes a single note. But the wonderful, extraordinary thing is that depending on how fast the vibration is, whether the waves come quickly or slowly, the note changes. Fast vibrations make high notes. Slow vibrations make low ones. Imagine that. All of music, every melody ever written, every song ever sung, every lullaby ever hummed in the dark, is just different speeds of vibration. air moving at different paces. And yet out of that, out of something as simple and invisible as air moving, we get the thing that makes you cry, and the thing that makes you brave, and the thing that makes you brave, and the thing that holds the memory of being small and safe and loved. It's rather a lot, isn't it, for vibrating air? Here is something that I find very beautiful. When two people make music together, when they play or sing at the same time, their brains begin to synchronize. Scientists have found this. They put musicians side by side and measure what their brains are doing, and the brains start to do the same things at the same time. The waves inside them match up. So music doesn't just connect us emotionally. It connects us physically, biologically, in the actual tissue of our minds. When you are sitting in a concert hall and the music is playing, and you look around at all the faces softened in the dim light, you are all, every single one of you, having your brains gently woven together by the sound. You are, in that moment, one thing. And then the music ends and you become separate again. But something remains. Some small warmth, some sense of having been together in something. That is why music is played at celebrations. At weddings, people dance and feel that togetherness. At funerals, people sing and feel it too. The sadness shared between everyone, lifted a little by being shared. Music is the thing we have always used when we needed to be one thing instead of many separate things. Now here is a very drowsy thought. Your brain, right now, is doing something called sleep preparation. Very slowly, very quietly, it is shifting gears. The busy, flickering thoughts, all the things that happened today, all the things that might happen tomorrow, they are beginning to soften and drift. The thoughts are getting lighter, less solid, more like wisps. And the music that helps with sleep works with this. It gives your brain something simple to follow so that it doesn't need to work so hard. Instead of spinning through its many thoughts, it can just follow the melody. The gentle curve up and then back down, up and then back down. Your breathing follows it. Your heartbeat follows it, and then something lovely happens. The part of your brain that stays awake and watches and notices things begins, very slowly, to let go. It does this in stages. First, the room goes a little soft. Then, the sounds become slightly further away. Then the thoughts become stories. Not quite real, not quite made up. And you drift and drift. That is sleep arriving. It comes like this, very quietly, when music has prepared the way. I want to tell you one more thing before we drift off together. There was a man, a very long time ago, named Wolfgang. He was born in a cold Austrian city, and he had dark eyes and quick, restless hands, and by the time he was 5 years old, which might be about how old some of you are right now, he was already composing music. Real music, written down, to be played by other people. By 5. Can you imagine sitting at 5 years old and writing music? Music that would still be played 250 years later in concert halls all around the world? His name was Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. And there are people who have studied his music and found that certain pieces of it, the slow, gentle ones, the ones that move like water, have measurable effects on people who listen to them, on their breathing, on their brain waves, on how they feel when they wake up. Something he wrote very quietly 250 years ago in a candlelit room can still reach through time and slow your heartbeat tonight. Isn't that extraordinary? Isn't that the most extraordinary thing? A man long gone, his hands quiet for centuries, and yet the music of those hands is still here, still moving through the air. Still doing what music has always done, still finding you right where you are. And now, I think, we are nearly at the end. Not because the story has run out. There is so much more to know about music, so many more wandering paths we could take, but because you are getting sleepy. I can tell. The words are probably getting a little softer now, a little less clear, like they are being wrapped gently in something warm. That's all right. That's exactly right. Let the words become a little like music then. Don't try to follow each one. Let them drift past, the way music drifts past when you're not listening to it, but just letting it fill the room. Think about that small hum, the one that exists at the bottom of everything, in the log struck in the forest long ago, in the whale's long song moving through the dark water. In the bird alone at dawn. In the music playing softly now, somewhere in the world, in hospitals and nurseries and old people's homes and bedrooms, just like this one. The hum is always there. You just have to stop and let yourself hear it. It sounds a little like this. Like breathing. Like a heartbeat. Like the sound of being safe. So tonight, as you slide a little further down into that warm, comfortable place just before sleep, know this. The feeling in your chest when music touches you, that warmth, that lift, that shiver down your spine, that pulling behind your eyes, is not nothing. It is something very old and very real and very human. It is the same thing felt by a person standing by a fire very long ago, listening to the drum. The same thing felt by a whale in the dark ocean, singing its long song to no one and everyone. The same thing felt by that little boy Wolfgang, writing down notes by candlelight while the snow fell outside. Music remembers us, and we remember it back. And now, the room is very quiet and very soft. Your hands are warm. Your breathing is slow and easy. And if you listen really, really quietly, you might hear the smallest hum just at the edge of hearing, in and out. In and out. That's the music in everything saying good night. Good night. Good night.